Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, slipping and sliding into the studio this morning. So the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, take on the Eagles in the Super Bowl a week from this Sunday. Following the win in Kansas City Sunday night, of course, they had Monday off. When do they get back to practice?
They'll probably have the rest of this week or the better part of this week off, and then go back to practice, maybe the latter part Friday or Saturday, somewhere around there. And you kind of misstated that a little bit. Ned Reynolds arriving on his backside is much more like it. I can't use the other term. Well, I could, but I'm not going to.
You could. So what about the injured guys?
Well, that hasn't really been made public, stated public yet, and probably won't be until today or tomorrow. But, you know, I'm at fault for this. It's all my fault. I said last week, the Chiefs have lived a charmed life. They haven't had any injuries, and then they have them all practically in one game. Mahomes, you know about. There's no way he didn't irritate his injury, but he has 2 weeks to get over that, and he did play with severity, so to speak. So he's probably a given. L'Jarius Sneed, you don't know about because that's concussion protocol, and that's simply a medical report how long he remains in that. Hopefully it won't be long, but you never can tell. Mecole Hardman, I really think Mike is finished for the year, and maybe, who knows. It was a pelvis injury that kept him out for so long, and he re-injured that, so it's probably not going to heal in just a couple of weeks. Kadarius Toney, he's a good player, great speed, but when he's not on the injured list, that's an upset. Jeez, he's been there with a hamstring with the Giants, hamstring with the Chiefs, ankle now. He turned that somewhere along the line, so who knows what's going to be his case. Juju Smith-Schuster has me worried. That was a knee injury, and you don't recover from them immediately. So, again, we'll have to wait and see. Willie Gay's shoulder, he'll probably play, and Travis Kelce with the back spasms, he'll probably play with no problem at all.
Snead, of course, in concussion protocol, and
you don't know how long. That's a doctor's judgment.
And that is, but the time is on our side in that case because we really need Snead back in there, especially to
but
stop.
I've seen guys on the concussion protocol for a month.
Come on, be positive. Be positive.
Have to be realistic.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm going to sit in here and be positive. You be realistic. It was a very sad note this morning that we have the passing of Bobby Hull, Brett Hull's father, legend in hockey.
Oh, good heavens. The Golden Jet, he had broken into hockey, a little bit older than I am, had broken into hockey when I was in high school. He's not a college guy. He was just a great star. Kind of if you can make an analogy to baseball, maybe the Mickey Mantle of hockey. He was the first goal scorer ever to have 50 or more goals in a single season. He and his son, Brett, as you mentioned, they are the all-time father-son tandem in hockey for goal scoring. Bobby Hull was everything except for one, the one he really wanted to achieve. He did get one, let me rephrase that, with the Chicago Blackhawks in the early 1960s. He won a Stanley Cup, but that was it, just the one time. Two-time most valuable player, all-star every year. I had the great opportunity to see him play in the latter stages of his career in the early 70s, and he jumped over to the World Hockey Association. But good gracious sakes alive, he had everything, speed, and of course he had that flowing blonde hair. That's what got him the Golden Jet, and he was a hero in Chicago and around the National Hockey League as well. Passed from the scene yesterday, age of 84. Bobby Hull, that's one of the great legends of hockey.
And you can't talk about hockey without mentioning that family for sure. All right, so on the note of hockey, right now, right before the All-Star break for hockey, you want your team to just really start ramping up, being consistent, winning consistently. Can't really say that about the St. Louis Blues, can you?
They had a 2-0 lead over the Winnipeg Jets last night in Winnipeg and lost the game 3-2. Let them come from behind to win it. St. Louis can play well. They just can't play consistently. And that's got to be a point of concern, and it has to be with the front office and the team now because they're arriving at a point in the season when they better start making a charge. The way they work the National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoffs is the 3 top teams in each division, and there are 4 of them. They automatically make the playoffs. Then it is the 2 wild card teams from each conference that also qualify, and the Blues don't meet either of those cases right now. They've got to start winning. They're a ways behind. If they win, they could still sneak in somehow, but right now they're not fitting the bill.
So Had a little bit of a change-up in college basketball when it comes to the ranking, didn't we?
Well, it's some of them, yeah, but not the top teams. This is the first time this year that both top teams have been unanimous choices. Now, the poll that you look at, Mike, is the Associated Press. That's the one that's considered to be the top. Other polls, coaches' polls and things like that. Each of the media has their own polls, but the Associated Press college rankings are the top. In men's basketball, unanimous choice for Purdue. And Purdue in the Big Ten Conference is really, really good. They've only lost one game, and they are a top-level team. Speaking of top-level teams, the number one choice in women's basketball is defending champion South Carolina. They are, that's just a roller coaster. They are, except mostly down. They are kicking teams in the behind and taking no prisoners. They are in the same conference with Mizzou. They have put Mizzou to shame. They put Arkansas. Arkansas is a good team, and South Carolina beat them last week 91-46. Well, they have a game, they being South Carolina, coming up this weekend that's going to be pretty interesting because they're going to play UConn. And now UConn is probably not as good as they are because they've had a lot of injuries. But that's Gino Auriemma taking his, actually they're playing in Connecticut. Interesting to see if South Carolina is able to emerge from that. Connecticut's number 5 in America. They're pretty good. So some pretty good level of women's basketball, and don't count the Lady Bears out. They may be there in the end.
Good to see that for sure. We do have some old faces, and we have some new faces going to be coaching the Springfield Cardinals this year.
Well, the old face, and he's not old, will be Jose Lajer. He'll be back as manager. This will be his 3rd year in piloting the Springfield Cardinals, but as far as the coaching staff is concerned, yeah, it's been a bit of a shakeup. The new pitching coach is a guy named Eric Peterson. He's only 29 years old, but he does have pretty good experience. He has been around coaching in the college ranks, and what makes him really good is that part of his college baseball career was played at my alma mater.
Oh, he's a Temple guy.
He didn't finish there. He finished at North Carolina State, but he does have Temple experience, so that makes him tough because he's from North Broad Street in Philadelphia. I'm kidding, of course. But Eric Peterson's a pitching coach. The hitting coach is a familiar name to individuals in this area. Brock Hammett, he is from Nixa, played for Nixa High School back in 2012, 2013, in that vicinity when they had some really good teams. He's been with the Brewers organization and has been a volunteer coach at Lipscomb down in Nashville. So those are the two, the hitting and pitching coach. And we also have a newcomer to the team, a guy who fits the level of just coaching, and his name is Will Hawks, and he'll be kind of an overall coach. So other than Jose Lajer, it's a new staff. And don't look now, folks, but that calendar is marching toward the opening of baseball in late April. Well, spring training, of course, but late April, and it'll be a lot of fun. Always is.
All right, we got one hell of a basketball game tonight between the K-State Wildcats and KU Jayhawks, which this one will be in Lawrence. So last time was a very close game. Of course, K-State's inked by 1 point. Jayhawks going to be out for blood tonight, aren't they?
I can positively guarantee you they will.
There'll be a lot of purple and blue flying on that court, I'll tell you that much.
When Bill Self sends his team out on the court at the Fog Allen Fieldhouse, they will be ready, and so will the over 16,000 who will be there. Of course, there were 16,000 in Manhattan, too, but most of them were wearing purple. Tonight, they'll be wearing the red and blue of Kansas, and what is Manhattan and Lawrence? Probably, 25, 30 miles, or is it more than that?
I'd say about another 45 from Lawrence, yeah, because it's about 45 to Lawrence and then about another 45 to Manhattan.
And I can see the K-State fans hey, here's our tickets. Oh, sorry, they're no good tonight.
Yeah, right. Well, it's going to be a shakeout, but at least we got something to watch on a Tuesday. Last but not least, Missouri State Bears and Lady Bears play when?
Tomorrow night. They both will play tomorrow night. Lady Bears on the road at Carbondale against Southern Illinois. The Bears at home against Valparaiso, and the Valparaiso Beacon. That is their recently established new mascot now, the Beacon. They're lower level of the valley, but they're still capable of pulling some surprises, and the Bears need to play consistent basketball to get that win.
It's getting a little bit too close to the end for you to start messing things up. So definitely for the K-State Wildcats and Missouri State Bears, you better be winning some games, Ned. Be safe driving out of here. I'll see you tomorrow.